We welcome to the show Desmond Wong, CEO, artist, and game designer from the Gentlebros, developer of a wonderful game, Cat Quest. Desmond, thank you for taking the time to talk with us on our one-year anniversary show. How are things in Singapore today?
Oh, it's going great, guys. As usual, Singapore's really hot, but it's actually a cool morning now. Yeah, so there's a time difference. I think it's probably evening for you guys, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I just woke up. I'm actually technically still in my bed while talking to you guys. So yeah, it should be great.
Can you tell our listeners a bit about the Gentlebros? What made you decide to start an independent game studio?
Right. Okay. So the Gentlebros was actually founded by three people. So basically, two other guys besides me. We were all actually from Tecmo Koei or Koei Tecmo, with the guys who did like Dynasty Warriors, Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. We worked there for a couple of years, and there's that grind when you're working on like console titles, right? Like you just kind of feel like a really small gear in a machine. So we needed more creative freedom with our project. So we just got together. Like we were just seated next to each other in the company, and we were like, "Hey, do you want to start making a game together? Like just a small game that we could put on like mobile or something like that." So that's what we did, right? We just spent our nights after work working on our small little projects, and eventually one of them like got the notice of like Congregate, which is an American publisher, and they gave us some money to start out, and that's kind of what happened. Like, we used that money to leave our jobs, and we got like a local government grant or something, and yeah, that the rest is history basically. Like we used that money to start our company, and yeah, we've been making games ever since. And our most recent project was Cat Quest, which you guys were just mentioning, and yeah, that's also been our most successful project so far. So it's been really great.
Aside from the great work that you're doing with Gentlebros, and you kind of alluded to this, you kind of mentioned this. I understand that you were a CG artist for Koei Tecmo as well, and you've had a chance to work as a character artist for some very well-known franchises. How much of that experience are you bringing over to what you're doing with projects like Cat Quest and its sequel?
I was a character artist on stuff like Dead or Alive, Fatal Frame, and Dynasty Warriors. So obviously, all those games are vastly different from what we've been making, right? So, like first and foremost, those games were 3D games, and they were mostly human-based characters. Like Cat Quest, as you know, is all just animals, like cute cats and stuff like that. So skill-wise and like style-wise, we couldn't really bring much over. But what really helped us when starting our own company was basically the work methodologies, the pipelines and stuff that we learned while working at Koei Tecmo. So even simple stuff like how you name your files, right? Or like the pipeline of how you get your art into the game engine and stuff like that was all things that really helped us when we started our own company, because we knew how all this would and can be done like right from the get-go. There was like no learning curve. There was no we didn't need the time to fail or anything like that, because we knew exactly what we needed to do. So I think in that sense, it really helped with our efficiency and helped us get on the ground running as soon as we could. And of course, I think the thing that helped us the most was basically that pedigree of having worked on those projects like you mentioned. I still remember our first game that we did as a company was called Slashy Hero, and we were thinking like how do we get the media's attention, right? Like how do we get Touch Arcade or like Kotaku or stuff to write articles about the games that we were making? And one of the ideas we had was like, hey, let's just email these guys and say like we were like ex Dynasty Warriors developers or something like that. Maybe that would catch their attention, and sure enough, it helped a lot with some of the media outlets that we reached out to. So I think in that sense, having that experience in Koei Tecmo was really a benefit for us when starting our own indie company.
So we'll shift focus over to Cat Quest. I understand the game actually started off as a dance game and transitioned over to an RPG. How did that come about?
Oh man, it's super long story, man. So so we were fresh. We were fresh off Slashy Hero, our first game. We were thinking, okay, what are we going to do next? So all of us like cats, right? And the internet loves cats. So we knew right from the get-go that we wanted to do something cat-related, or like maybe something animal-related at the very least. One of us is actually a musician, Shas, which is one of our partners. So she actually plays the instruments and she teaches music and stuff like that. So we thought, hey, it might be pretty cool if we could do some kind of rhythm-based music game with cats, right? So one of us had the idea of a game called Copycat. So it's a dancing rhythm game where you play as a cat, and it has a little bit of like social multiplayer mechanics as well, where you had to kind of copy the moves of another player. So that was the initial idea, right? Unfortunately, I was the game designer for the project, and I have like zero musical background whatsoever. So it was virtually impossible or really hard for me to design a game that was music based and rhythm based like that. So that was how it started, right? So we kind of did a lot of art assets for Copycat, that the dancing game, and we didn't really want to. We felt bad to throw away all these cute art assets that we've made. So we thought, hey, maybe is there a way that we could like change the game mechanic, change the idea of the game, but still keep these cute characters? And that's how and that's kind of how the prototyping phase came about. We prototyped many different game ideas and mechanics. I think at one point Cat Quest was like an idle game, at another point it was actually like a tavern management game in a sense. So you would like actually control a barkeep, and you would like serve drinks to like adventurers that will come into your bar. Sim games. At one point, we were even talking to Namco Bandai. We were like asking them whether we could do like a mobile version for Dark Souls or something like that. So those were weird times, and eventually we prototyped an idea where you would be traveling across an overworld map as a cat, right? But at that point, there was no battle system, there was no battle mechanics yet. It was literally just a traveling mechanic. You would kind of trace a line through this overworld map, and you see your cat just trudge along that line, and you will get random encounters along the way. So that was really the very first initial concept for Cat Quest. But after that, as we reiterated on the idea over and over, we realized it might be even cooler if we scrapped the random encounter mechanics, made players actually run on the world map, like a la like Final Fantasy, the old Final Fantasy, right? The ones with the overworld maps and stuff like that, and you actually fought the enemies on the map itself. So that really was the turning point for the project. Like once we had that idea down, everything else came into place. Like sleeping in towns, like the towns are just on the map. You don't need to enter them. All the dungeons acted as like levels, quote and unquote, in our game. And yeah, after that, basically everything was just really easy to design, and that's pretty much how the Cat Quest today came about.
Is there? Do you have any idea if maybe you might go back and revisit the dance game? Maybe have it as like a mini game or something available in the sequel?
I mean, we've had a lot of fans actually ask us bring back the dancing game, right? Like because like it just sounds so interesting. Like how can a game like Cat Quest be a dancing game? But yeah, unfortunately, unless we can hire someone who has some kind of a musical background and game designing experience, is going to be really tough for us. Because currently, as it stands right now, I'm the only game designer in the company. So, and I have no musical background whatsoever. I can't even like sing. So yeah, so it's going to be really tough. Yeah, it's going to be really tough for me to design a dancing game. But yeah, I mean, we wouldn't rule that out. Like even Persona has a dancing side gig, right? With their Dancing All Night series and stuff like that. So
yeah, I saw
yeah,
that.
so we wouldn't really rule out the idea. I mean, it'd be really cool to do it in the future, and yeah, if it does happen, right, it'll be a miracle in a sense. Yeah.
All right, we've beat around the bush a little bit, but our listeners would probably be upset if we didn't ask.
Right.
You've already answered the why cats, but was there a specific cat that was an inspiration for this?
A specific cat? Actually, no. I mean, strangely, we just didn't have one. All we wanted to do was design our own cat, right? So, but the colors and stuff of the cat was actually inspired by Pikachu. So our cat is yellow for a reason, right? So because we all really like Pokemon, we think Pikachu is really cute. We thought yellow is a really striking color, so that's pretty much why our cat is yellow. But there isn't actually any real life cat that we were inspired by. I mean, we took a lot of inspiration from a lot of different cats, like a lot of interpretations of cats like Garfield, like Felix and stuff like that. We kind of looked at all of them, and we kind of took the best parts that we felt from each of these characters, and we combined it all into our art style. And yeah, that's how our cat came about. Yeah, sorry if that was a disappointment for for people who thought that our cat was
Not at all. I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed. They might wonder if maybe in the future, in a sequel, there might be other inspiration for cats, but we could talk about that more later.
Sure.
The game is absolutely filled with cat puns. So did you guys keep like a list? And if so, did you have many that didn't make it into the game? Maybe there's some puns left over?
I mean, if you've played Cat Quest, right, you know there's so many puns. We definitely did not leave any puns to the cutting room floor. Like anything we thought of, it all got in. Maybe too many puns in my opinion, maybe. But yeah, I mean, how we started like gathering the puns was we just went on the internet. We googled like awesome cat puns, and we just basically started from there. So we had like a list of the basic cat puns, right? So there's a basic few. There's like possum. There's like perfect. Basically any word that rhymes with like paw or purr or meow, like meowvelous. Those were like the base ones. After that, actually a lot of the puns you see were actually suggestions from our fans or suggestions from testers that played the game. So one good example was there's an actual area in the map called the Forbidden Fields. It wasn't actually always called that. Previously, it was just called Forbidden Fields, right? Like it was just spelled exactly as how it would be spelled in normal English. But one of the testers that we let like test the game initially, he had the idea like, hey, why not you call this the Forbidden Fields instead? And we thought that was like a great idea. And after that, it was just a case of just getting used to writing puns. We're actually going through that whole process again right now with Cat Quest 2 because we're introducing dogs, right? So dogs have their own set of puns, which is like a whole new range of words that could be punified in a sense. So that's been another learning curve for us. So like we're really good at doing cat puns, right? But dog puns are like a whole different ball game, and they're like so hard compared to cat puns. But yeah, that's basically how we do it.
The game isn't extremely long. The standard first playthrough isn't especially challenging, but the game feels like the intention is to entice the player to replay it with a different mode and a set of modifiers. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, that's right. So there's this mode called Mew Game, right? So there's a bunch of modifiers that you can turn on. There's like one for no armors. There's one for you just have 9 lives. There's another modifier where you cannot level up, stuff like that. So yeah, we intentionally kept the game short for replayability, but we didn't expect like a huge community to actually speed run the game. So we have a lot of emails from speedrunners like thanking us for making a game that was like so easy to speedrun. You know, like it's a great introduction to speedrunning for a lot of people. That was never so, but I'm glad that it turned out that way.
Yeah, I have a small speedrunning background, and now I kind of feel like I need to go back and replay Cat Quest.
You totally should, man. That's like we were watching. I think Cat Quest was played at Awesome Games Done Quick, and there was a particular speedrunning exploit that we never knew existed in the game. So we're like, holy shit! Like, should we fix this? But in the end we didn't. So we just left it in for all the speedrunners out there. Yeah.
When I completed the game, I actually tweeted about it, and Gentlebros responded to me, wishing me luck because Mew Game Plus was a challenge.
Right, it is, yeah.
With as casual as the first playthrough was, how did you have to ramp up the difficulty before you considered it enough for Mew Game?
We didn't really think so much of ramping up the difficulty to a certain extent. So we were just concentrating on creating a different experience. So for example, in the base game, you only unlocked the ability to walk on water at around the middle to 3/4 mark of the game. But in Mew Game, you get that right from the beginning. So it completely changes the way you play the game. With the ability to walk on water right from the beginning, you can access areas that you normally couldn't have in the normal game. So that kind of changes the route that you go about through the world. and in turn it changes the way you play the game as well. So in that sense, our intention was always to create a new experience with new game. And to ramp up the difficulty, right, we decided to make it something that was customizable by the player. So which is where the modifier idea came about. So modifiers are basically modifiers that you can apply to the game itself to make it harder or easier. So there's actually a modifier that actually gives you all the armor that you collected from your base game into your new game. So that's a modifier that makes things easier, right? But there are others as well, like the level 1 challenge and stuff like that. The idea all stemmed from watching old challenge videos from Final Fantasy and stuff, because back then, like people were kind of challenging themselves with the old Final Fantasy games, like, can I beat this game without leveling up, or can I beat this game with Cloud's Buster Sword from the beginning, right? So it's stuff like that we thought was, and it's stuff that we wanted to incorporate into Cat Quest as well, but make it something that was more official and more part of the game mechanics in a sense.
Did you ever give any thought to making the game a traditional turn-based RPG, or was it always going to be an action RPG at that point?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the very first prototype for Cat Quest was the battle system was actually turn-based. So, the idea was you would walk around the map. You will basically draw like a line, right? And this will be your route through the map. And your cat would just walk along that line, and along the way you just get attacked by random enemies. So when that happens, I think if I remember right, attacking was auto. So your characters would just attack the enemies automatically, but every few seconds you get a chance to select a certain different command to attack the enemy with. So I know it's not exactly turn-based, it's kind of like a blend between the two, but yeah, that was actually the first ever prototype for the game that we know today as Cat Quest. It wasn't very, very fun in my opinion, so that's why we kind of changed it to the real-time battle mechanics that is currently in the game right now.
Was there what was the overall reception of Cat Quest on the Nintendo Switch? Like how well was it received?
This is our first game on the Switch, so we don't really have anything to base it on, but I think we did pretty good. Like in Japan, we were actually the top 3 most downloaded game on, I think, during the first or second that we came out. So we beat like really crazy anime looking like that, so we were really proud of that. In the US and UK, we were 5th and 6th on the eShop charts, so that was good as well. Yeah, so I think we did pretty well in terms of downloads. The Switch is actually the fastest downloaded version of Cat Quest out of all the other platforms. In terms of total downloads, I think Steam. Compared to all consoles and PC, right? Steam probably still has the most downloads, but that's because Steam has like a 1 to 2 months head start over the Switch version. As it continues to grow, we believe that the Switch version would probably overtake the Steam version at some point, or it probably already has. We're just too deep into Cat Quest 2 right now to really check. But yeah.
Well, don't forget all the physical. Don't forget the retail release too.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, we didn't. I'm not sure how many physical versions that we printed, but yeah, you're right, man. We definitely can't discount that as well.
Yeah, I played mine. I play most of my games physically, but Cat Quest, I have a physical ESRB copy. I think PQ published it. Yeah,
PQ published it. Yeah, so they're the guys that we're working with for US and UK, basically the Western regions. So yeah, so like I'm from Singapore, which is considered like Southeast Asia, right? So we didn't work with any distributor here for Cat Quest, so we actually don't see Cat Quest in the shops like from where I am, so which is kind of a bummer.
What can you tell our audience about the development progress so far on Cat Quest 2?
All the core mechanics are done, right? Right now we're focused on just finishing up the main content of the game. So the main quest is about 75 to 80% done. All the side quest content is about 50 to 60% done. I know it doesn't sound like much, but we're getting there. Once all the base tools and like foundational things are done, right? Like the actual content generation is pretty fast. So hopefully we'll be able to meet our release date, which is actually the 3rd quarter of this year. So fingers crossed, but yeah, that's kind of what we're aiming for.
You know, one of the things that I really loved is that in-depth blog post that you put up on your website about developing and releasing the game as multi-platform as possible.
Oh, Right, yeah.
Is there anything that you're planning on doing differently about the multi-platform aspect of the release for the sequel, or is it going to be kind of the same challenge for you?
Actually, I would say even more challenging right now, because we're adding Xbox One to the mix too, right? So back then we launched on pretty much every platform except Xbox. That was mainly because of technical challenges, not because we don't like Microsoft or anything like that. We actually love Microsoft. So this time we're adding mix, which is one whole new skill, which is a whole different ball game as well. But yeah, it's actually even more challenging because in Cat Quest 1, we actually focused on just the mobile and the PC release for our first launch. But kind of right now we're trying to do something that is more simultaneous, right? So we're trying to put Cat Quest out on everything as close to each other as possible. So in Cat Quest 1, there was a huge gap. Well, I wouldn't say huge. It was like a few months gap between mobile and PC launch and the console launch. But we're trying to close up that gap now for Cat Quest 2. Try to make everything as simultaneous as possible, which is a huge challenge because as a team we've only grown by one person, but we've added all these new challenges. So yeah, hopefully we don't screw it up. But yeah, so nothing really about the release schedule that we can announce right now, but hopefully that shed some light on what we are planning to do.
From a gameplay aspect, what do you think will set Cat Quest 2 apart from the original?
Oh, definitely the fact that you can play as a dog this time and you can play the game with a friend. So in Cat Quest 1, it was a completely single-player solo experience, right? You only control one cat. But now in Cat Quest 2, even if you're playing single-player, it's a two-man party this time. So it's both a cat and dog going on an adventure together. So what this means is you can actually swap between the cat and dog at any time, and the other character will be AI controlled. You can customize both characters in any way you want. So you can give the dog a certain set of spells that you would like him to cast in battle, and the AI will be smart enough to actually cast it. So there's all sorts of different strategies you could come up with, right? You could make one character the tank, and then have him just soak up all the damage from the enemy while you stand behind and just shoot enemies from afar with your mage staff or something like that. Or you could make the AI companion like a fully fledged support class, like so you give him all the healing spells, you give him all the support spells. So there's a whole new host of strategies you could go about with the game as well right now. And on top of that, at any time in the game, the co-op experience is completely seamless. So you could just imagine you could be playing by yourself and your friend comes in, right? Say, hey, I want to play some Cat Quest 2. He's like, sure, just jump in, man. So your friend can just hook up a controller, select 2P mode, and just seamlessly join the game wherever the original player was at previously. So we're really excited about that. And it's also one of the toughest challenges that we've had to face so far because Cat Quest traditionally has always been a single player experience. But now adding co-op completely changes a lot of the mechanics that we've been comfortable with so far.
Yeah, you've already mentioned a little bit about this. Was to bring up similarities. I was going to ask if Cat Quest 2 is going to have the same level of cat puns or even more, but you've already said we're getting dog puns this time.
Yeah. So the idea is to still retain the cat puns that we've got, right? But we're making it mean more this time. So it's kind of back then the idea behind the cat puns in the first game was that we would just use it as often as we could, right? So in that sense, I think it made some people. Actually, I'm not so sure about this, but we've had some feedback that there were too much cat puns. So I'm not sure about that. But we're definitely making the cat puns mean more this time. So we're using less of them. We're making them more meaningful in the sense that we're using them in places where they would actually be funny or actually make more impact as you're reading it, right? So we're not just using it everywhere, every chance we can right now, but we're using it in places that has the most impact for the players while reading it. And to balance this out, we're adding dog puns as well. So the cats, they talk in cat puns, but the dogs, they talk in dog puns, right? So it's kind of like, you can think of them as like the languages of each race in a sense. So there will be occasions where like the cats won't understand what the dogs are saying because their dog puns are, dog puns and cats don't get that and stuff like that. So it's pretty much like, it's almost like their language in a sense. Yeah.
With 2, do you intend to flesh out a full RPG story that runs into several tens of hours, or is it going to be like the first game where you work towards enticing the replayability of a shorter story?
So we're still going to do that replayability aspect, but on top of that, right, the main quest itself is already going to be double the length at the very least of the first game. So it's going to be in Cat Quest 1 there were 10 main quest missions, but in Cat Quest 2 there's going to be at least 20, so it's already double the length. In terms of just general content, there's already double the content. So there's 2 kingdoms to explore. Besides Fellinga, which is the cat kingdom, you'll be able to explore the Lupus Empire as well, which is the dog kingdom. And both kingdoms are on the map itself, so there's no loading between. So you could actually walk across the ocean and reach the dog kingdom completely seamlessly. So that's something really cool. And yeah, so expect the same amount of content from Cat Quest, but doubled the size, because now there are basically two kingdoms. So yeah, we're really excited about that, and it's also killing us because there's just so much shit to do now. But yeah, hopefully it'll be fun for the fans. Hopefully, yeah.
I think it will be. I think everybody will really enjoy that. If you were to look beyond Cat Quest 2,
right?
Do you have other ideas for the types of games that you would like to create?
Yeah, I mean, currently right now our plan is to continuously build this Cat Quest IP, right? So like IGN was actually asking us how many Cat Quest games are there going to be. I think at that point during the interview, I wasn't really thinking straight, and I kind of said there will be 9 Cat Quest games because cats have 9 lives and stuff like that. But we don't actually plan to make 9 games. Like there wouldn't be 9 main Cat Quest games. So our plan is to kind of build different games, but all in the Cat Quest universe. So the whole world of Cat Quest is super huge, right? There's dogs, there's cats, there's mice, there's bears. There's all sorts of stories that we could tell, right? So we have ideas. So far, we have ideas of making a stealth-based game set in the Cat Quest universe. Maybe you play as a cat burglar and you're like robbing museums and stuff like that. We have other ideas of creating a Metroidvania where you play as a character that's like going through this dark castle and you're trying to defeat a main villain or something like Hollow Knight. So with all these ideas that we want to like go ahead with for a future project. So these games won't be like sequels to Quest. It'll be completely different games, but set in the Cat Quest universe. So that's kind of what we're going for, right? Going forward from here on out.
So we'll expect to see Cat Quest fighters in the future, right?
Probably. I mean, it wouldn't be called Cat Quest Fighters, right? It'll be like it'll be its own game, its own name, but it will be very clearly linked to the Cat Quest universe.
Excellent.
And yeah. So the main goal is to build all these characters, and hopefully our one of my partners, his grand idea is that it will end up like the 9th game will be like this massive MMO where players could play as any race they want, like and just interact with people in a huge world and stuff like that. But that will be like many years in the future.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, so do we.
For us, it's a big celebration this month. Not only is this our anniversary for On the Shelf, it's also the 2-year anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. What has been the biggest surprise to you about the Switch so far?
I think the biggest surprise for me is how much I would actually love playing on my Switch. So when I first heard the idea, right, I was like, okay, I think this is going to be my new handheld console. Like it'll be my replacement for the 3DS or something like that. But there's been so many quality games that have come out for the Switch. I mean, from Zelda to Pokemon to even a lot of the remake. I mean, a lot of the remasters, right? Like I just bought Onimusha for the Switch, which is something that I unfortunately missed out on when I was younger. So it was a great experience to play the game again all these years in the future. And strangely, the game still holds up. So yeah, it's really a console that has really overtaken my PS4 and my Xbox One as like my primary console, and I was really surprised about that. Like I would think, because as it's always been, right, like the Wii U and all the Nintendo consoles for the past 4 generations have always been that secondary console you would get in addition to your PlayStation or your Xbox. But currently for me right now, my Switch is my main console, and I'm always looking forward to playing all the new indie games or whatever new like AAA title that's coming out for the Switch.
We can relate to that. What game are you looking forward to seeing on the Switch, or you wish would come to the Switch?
I'm not sure if this is a popular opinion, but I actually want like Wind Waker HD on the Switch, like really bad. Like Wind Waker was one of the Zeldas that I missed out on somehow, and I missed out on it again when the HD version came out. So I really want that on the Switch, and there was that rumor of Persona 5 coming on the Switch as well, right? I'm not sure if it's been confirmed already, but I really want to play Persona 5 again on my Switch, even though I've already completed it on my PlayStation 4. But yeah, so right now these are the two games I really, really want to Switch, and Nintendo, please make it happen.
We'll talk to Reggie for you.
Thanks so much, man. Make sure he knows.
Yeah.
Last year, Nintendo gave us some interesting surprises. What surprises do you think Nintendo has in store for this coming year?
Surprises. I think maybe we'll get to see a brand new IP, probably. That will come out of Nintendo. Well, I mean, a lot of us were kind of expecting a Switch Pro to come out, right? Like a more souped up version of the Switch, because as fortunately as we all know, like the Switch is the most powerful thing out there. So there's lots of games that have run pretty poorly on the Switch. So a more powerful version of the console will be hugely appreciated. So I don't really consider this a surprise, because I think Nintendo is definitely gonna do this, because history has proven so, right? I mean, like the 3DS has had the 3DS XL, which is and the more powerful version of the 3DS that came out near the end of its life cycle. So I'm pretty sure Nintendo would do that, and I'm hoping they would, because I definitely want to spend my money on something like that.
We're on the final question now, and this is a bonus question. Generally, we take one question at the very end that doesn't really have anything to do with the topics that we've been discussing. It's just a random question, and we get people's responses to it, and everybody gets a different question. So your question is, finding food in dungeons and sewers is very commonplace in the gaming world, and for the most part, it's going to heal whatever ails you when you consume it. So
right.
What food could you not resist, even if you found it inside of a dusty box in a basement of a haunted house?
Oh, it's definitely a fried chicken, man. I wouldn't be able to resist that. So in Singapore, right, there's like this local fried chicken shop called Arnold's that is really, really amazing. So I go there to eat like once every week. So if I were to find that fried chicken in a box, right, like no matter how dusty it is or like in what kind of box it's in, I'll definitely try it out. Like I'll take one bite, and if it tastes bad, I'll just like dump it away, I guess. But yeah, fried chicken for sure.
He had that answer really quickly.
Yeah, no, I mean like damn, man, fried chicken, man, it's gonna be that for sure. Yeah.
Well, Desmond, I really want to thank you for coming on the show. Do you have anything else that you want to share with anybody, that you want to say to the listeners? You know, it's a big episode for us. 1 year anniversary of our podcast, 2 year anniversary of the Switch. So if you have anything else you want to talk about, let us know. Now's the time.
I mean, thanks for having me on the show, man, especially for this anniversary. It's like it's a real honor, and yeah, I think in terms of stuff that we could talk about, I mean, definitely check out Cat Quest 2. We're gonna be actually demoing the game at GDC, so if anyone is in San Fran or going to the event, do come hit us up. You can try the game right there. Yeah, so hopefully Cat Quest 2 turns out great, and yeah, do follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page to hopefully learn more about the game, stuff like that. Yeah.
You want to drop those addresses? You want to tell everybody what the ad is and where the Facebook page is?
Yeah, so Twitter is at the Gentlebros. Our Facebook page is, I guess you can just search for Cat Quest, and hopefully it'll turn up. Yep. I don't have the actual link with me right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, make sure you guys do that. Get out there. Go check out the Facebook page. Go follow them on Twitter. I got to tell you, I've been following for a while. It's great when there's cool little tweets, especially when you guys end up retweeting something from somebody that's been playing the game.
Yeah, and yeah, congrats on you guys for having your anniversary, man. it's going great. Sounds good for you guys.
The Cat Quest Facebook page is facebook.com/catquestgame.
There we go.
Right, I think so. Okay, hey, thanks for that.
Again, thanks for dropping by. We really wish you
worries.
the best of luck on Cat Quest 2. We're looking forward to playing it.
All right, awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah.
We hope to talk to you soon, maybe when Cat Quest 2 comes out.
Oh, absolutely, man. Just let us know, and we'll just set a date aside, and I'll be happy to talk to you guys again. You guys are a lot of fun.